So the book is based on acceptance and commitment therapy. It's based on habit reversal training, exposure and response prevention, and mindfulness-based relapse prevention. I've taken works from all of these practices and turned it into a 30-day challenge that builds on itself and that promotes psychological flexibility, right? And so what you're going to find online are some loose recommendations. You should do this. You should eat a salad for lunch. Okay, well, sure, let me do that, right? But what I've actually crafted is a doable treatment path for you to implement in your life.
Welcome to another episode of the Matter Over Mind Experience. I'm your host, Master Trainer, and Weight Management Expert, Narado Zeco Powell. And of course, you know your boy always delivers because I have an exciting topic for you today. We're going to talk about digital minimalism and real life maximism. What does that mean? Sounds like a bunch of Hulu crazy stuff, right? But let me tell you, in today's society, we know that stress is a silent killer. And we know that there is constant increase of anxiety and so many things that impact us that we don't even pay attention to. And those are some of the topics we're going to hit on today, how you can deal with these things and how our habits are leading to these and other things that are impacting our health. So today, I have Jennie Ketcham Crooks, who has a ton of knowledge and expertise, licensed clinical social worker, anxiety specialist, and author of Look Up, the 30-day path to digital minimalism and real life maximalism. So with that being said, Jennie, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Zeco. I'm so excited to be here, and I am honored to get to spend this time with you. So thank you for having me.
So am I. And you know, on the Matter of Mind Experience, we go right for the juggernaut, right? So let's talk about your book. First of all, show my audience this wonderful book and tell us what inspired you to write it.
So inspiration to write it. That's a great question. It is a little bit more, I want to say like, oh, there was this idea that showed, but really what it was is this sort of like gentle unfolding of realizations, right? So I started seeing more and more clients who were showing up in the therapy room using their phones in very specific ways. And that way was usually centered on avoidance, right? I had a lot of clients who are socially anxious. And so when they get in the elevator, they get into their phone because they don't quite know what to do in the elevator, right? Or who go out to dinner and it's their first date, or maybe it's their 20th date. Maybe they recently had kids and they haven't connected with their partner. And then they find themselves sort of like checking to see like, oh, did the sitter text, or not quite sure how to connect. So like connecting through the right. So I started seeing phone use as avoidance. And that was concerning. And so I put almost all of my clients on some sort of, we would build out like a digital nutrition plan for them, right? Like, what are the things in this thing that are adding value and that nourish you? And what are the things that just like fried chicken tastes good, is good occasionally, right? And also like, let's not eat fried chicken every day, only fried chicken, right? Like, yum, love, but. So I started seeing that with my clients, right? And then what I noticed is that there was this day where it was Super Bowl Sunday, 2019. I remember really clearly, right? And we had friends over, and my daughter at the time was just learning to walk. Elsie, she was at the time, she was just about to turn 1 year old. And she was at that stage of learning to walk where she's sort of like shuffling along the coffee table, right? And I found myself pulled into this errant thought about Snooki from Jersey Shore, as one does, when one just exists, right? And so I was like, what is Snooki doing right now in her life, right? Like, how is she? And so I looked into Snooki, and looking into Snooki was like a slippery slope into learning about the situation, which led me to research Ron, which led me into the deep hole of like Jersey Shore content and drama and what are they doing now, right? And then time passed, and I found myself snapping out of that, I don't know, haze, trance. I don't know what you would call it, but I sort of like fell into this like deep hole, and I snapped out of it when people started clapping. And I was like, what happened? And what I realized is that I had missed my daughter's first step. She had just sort of like worked her way from the table to the chair. It's not really far. It's not, but it was this moment I missed. And most of us as parents who get to witness that moment, we file it away and then we forget, right? And we just sort of like, God, I think I remember, like, but it wasn't a big deal because you didn't miss it. But I missed this moment, and I knew that I missed it. And God, there's just a sting there. And so I started thinking like, oh, actually, this phone thing pulls me into. It's not just an avoidance thing. It's not just an intentional get out of the present moment thing. It's also an automatic habit that happens for all of us, right? It's not necessarily pathological. And so then I started looking into, is there a way to change this behavior, right? And as an evidence-based appreciator of therapy, right? I want my behavioral change strategies based in evidence. I started looking into the literature that was out there on changing your smartphone use. And I found some helpful stuff, but I didn't find anything from clinicians that had really tackled it in a way that I thought we should be tackling it. And so I wrote an 8-week curriculum. And then from there, I realized that an 8-week curriculum doesn't really allow access to this content like I want people to have access to it. And so it morphed and grew, and Look Up was born.
Look Up was born. I love it. I love it. And you know what? This is the time that we absolutely need it. And this is such an important topic because I feel like even from kids now, like in my generation, we didn't have smartphones as a child. So I'm giving away my age. I'm old as dirt. But so for me, it's a little bit easier, right, to kind of detox a little bit. I have my once a week where I step away from social media altogether. Not saying it's that easy for everyone, and I've been practicing it for a while as well. But now we see even children, if they're not, constantly watching shorts on YouTube, they know how to flip through and watch things and get on the phone and play games. So as they get older, their minds are programmed. This is normal. And then this is going to impact them, and they're going to keep missing important moments. So I'm glad your book is right on time and is exactly what we need. And I'm glad that you tied everything in, which leads me to my next question. If you see someone, what are some of the things that you share in your book that has helped individuals, and why are your tips different than what we would find on social media per se?
It just broke up a little bit, but I'm wondering, were you asking for tips and tricks that are different than social media, or what? Could you repeat the question?
No, definitely. I was saying, so in your book, how do you address some of these issues, and how would you say they're different than what someone could search online, for example?
So the book is based on acceptance and commitment therapy. It's based on habit reversal training, exposure and response prevention, and mindfulness-based relapse prevention. I've taken works from all of these practices and turned it into a 30-day challenge that builds on itself and that promotes psychological flexibility, right? And so what you're going to find online are some loose recommendations. You should do this. You should eat a salad for lunch. Okay, well, sure, let me do that, right? But what I've actually crafted is a doable treatment path for you to implement in your life. And it is based in this like steadfast belief that you are capable of the kind of change that you want in your life, right? Like, I fully believe you can do this challenge. You can take this on. It is 100% realistic. It doesn't build in this like, well, if you don't eat salads every day for every meal, then you have failed, right? Like, it really builds in an element of kindness and recognition that change is an ongoing process, and it takes us practice, and it takes us reflecting on the things that worked for us yesterday and the things that didn't work for us yesterday, right? And so it is a really structured approach to behavioral change that is grounded in self-compassion and so much love. And you're not going to find that sort of stance in these other books or on like internet recommendations, like love Mayo Clinic, love Cleveland Clinic, love your Rex. Like, sure, let me just like reduce screen time and keep it out of the bedroom. Like, got it, right? But like, what this does is it helps you to actually implement those changes in a way that's
I
sustainable.
love that. I love that you say it helps you to implement those changes, because you're right. I mean, we've done studies. I don't know the exact numbers now, but we will see where there's a lot of information out there, but it's only a small percentage of individuals can actually implement those changes. So eventually you will see the same things, do this, do that. Like I said, eat a salad, go to the gym, get some more endorphins and go for a walk. But how many people, especially if they've been stuck in a state for a while, can truly implement certain changes? So I'm glad that you add that as well. Which leads me to one last question. But before I get to that last question, everyone, you know your boy got to talk about his favorite company. I'm going to talk about the Amino Co. What's the Amino Co? Well, they have 100% science-backed amino acid that was first funded by NASA and further refined through rigorous research and independent clinical trials. See, Perform is the EAA, essential amino acid-based formulation designed to improve muscle performance during exercise, enhance mental clarity and concentration, reduce fatigue and dehydration, and minimize recovery times. That's why it's called Perform. Because when you have all those benefits, you work out better, right? You perform better. You feel better. You even recover better. Because remember, EAAs, when you eat protein, EAAs and creatine are the end product. So when you get Perform in your system, it's already ready for your muscles to use. And sometimes I use it as a pre-workout or an intra-workout. And let me tell you, it makes amazing difference. And because it has the essential aminos and the creatine, it's only a small amount of caffeine. I think it's about 60 milligrams, or most of these pre-workouts have 300 milligrams, which is really not good for your heart, right? Caffeine itself is not bad, but overuse of caffeine can really cause an issue. And this is why I love to use Perform as a pre or intra-workout. In fact, the ingredients in Perform were, they're clinically proven, 20% increase in exercise completed, 22% increase in endurance, 11% increase in peak power during exercise, and 10% improvement in cognitive function during exercise. How can you not love it? I've been using it for a year and a half, and it's made a complete difference. And you know when your boy goes hard in the paint. So when I added Perform to my routine, game changer. So with that being said, the website zecohealth.com, immunoco.com/zecohealth is going to be in the description of the YouTube. And when you click on there, you get a 30% discount off all their wonderful products. And with that being said, back to the guest at hand. We're back to Jennie, because we're talking about digital detox. We're talking about real life maximalism. We're talking about the changes you can make and how you can add these changes into your life. So Jennie, a final question for you. In today's digitally driven world, what are some of the practical first steps that you recommend for someone looking to embrace this digital minimalism and reduce their screen time effectively?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question, right? And it leads to this idea of quick fix. I feel pulled to say, oh, you can implement this change. Oh, you can like implement this change. Like, but really the first steps to implementing any change is to get the book, take the challenge, commit to taking the challenge, talk to somebody that you love deeply and ask them if they've been impacted by your smartphone use. Talk to your kids even. See if they think you use your phone too much, right? Talk to your partner, talk to your parents, talk to the people that you value and see what they think of your behaviors, right? See if they think you could use a change. See if they'd be willing to do it with you, right? Get somebody else to go on this incredible journey with you, right? Because what this change is actually about is not reducing your screen time, right? So what? So we reduce your screen time and then what? You just sit there and stare at the wall, right? This challenge is about you creating the life that you want. This is about you connecting with the people that you love, with you reconnecting to yourself and your values, right? This is about building out something that is so much bigger than the screen that it doesn't matter if the screen is in it anymore, right? And so what I want to invite you to do is to be open to 30 days of commitment. Just give it 30 days and see what happens. You can do anything for 30 days, right? You can do anything for one day. Try the first day and see what happens. Be curious. Adopt an open and curious stance, right? But the first step might be to get a little bit of perspective on your behavior, because there's a good chance that actually most of us can be like, oh no, this would be good for my partner. This would be good for so-and-so, right? Like, I'm probably pretty good, right? And if you're listening to this and you're wondering, should I do this challenge? Get somebody else's feedback, right? See if you can be open to their feedback. Ask them for it. And start to imagine a life that's a little bit bigger than your screen. And then take it on.
Yes, that's absolutely powerful. I like how you put the cherry on top right there. Imagine a life that's bigger than your screen and take it on. Because real life is not in the cell phone, and real life is not in your tablet. Real life is out there. Maximize your real life. Connect with individuals. I mean, that's amazing. I love it. And Jennie, I know you have so many wonderful things in this book, and I'd like you again to show my audience a copy, a cover of your book. And let us know, how can we get in touch with you? How can we get a copy of the book?
Yeah, you bet. So the book is available right now on Amazon. You can type in look up Jennie, Jennie, and the book will come up. You can get in touch with me directly on Instagram. So my Instagram is Becoming Jennie, and that's Jennie again. So I'll be in the show notes too. If taking on this challenge is a bigger and scarier thing than you're willing to do, and you're wanting a little bit of additional support, I also own an anxiety specialty clinic, and we'd be happy to help you take the next step, implementing whatever changes you want to make in your life. So if you're needing a little bit more support than a self-help book like Look Up can give you, feel free to give me a shout. We can figure out what we can do too. So I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Jennie. Thank you so much. And everyone, go out and get a copy of this book. Reach out to our Instagram. I'm telling you, this can really transform your life. And of course, our contact information will be in the show notes. zecohealth.com/lookup. Everybody knows I'm not the most creative person in the world. zecohealth.com/lookup. But the show notes are going to be in the description of the podcast right below as well. With that being said, Jennie, thank you for being here. Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, fam.